Everyone dreams of living an uncommon life, and the best asset you have to achieve your dreams is you. Welcome to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. We're going to introduce you to people who are living uncommonly. We're also going to give you some tools and strategies for building wealth and for pursuing an uncommon path that is uniquely right for you.
Hello and welcome to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. Well, I'm your host, Phillip Ramsey, and today we get to dive in on a topic that I think is super important, and that is trying to find the right advisor and kind of trying to figure out what the DNA of that advisor that you're trying to interview, what their kind of DNA will be. Like, what am I talking about? Well, normally when people get into this industry, there's a lot of different ways, I guess, you could go to this industry, but there is a way that they've been trained. They're either trained in investments or they're trained in insurance. What do I mean by this? Okay. So every time an investor or a person comes into this industry, they're going to be trained in one of two ways. They're either going to be trained from a life insurance perspective where they really put a lot of emphasis on insurance. Let's look at like Northwest Mutual definitely is that. Even like Principal Financial Group, what I started, really had an insurance focus, and they really wanted me to sell a lot of insurance. They taught me a lot about insurance. They told me all about the products that they had. They really didn't tell me a lot about the investments that they could help you put your money. And they also told me to get licensed in such a way where I couldn't sell all the investments. I could only sell mutual funds. So that's kind of the insurance kind of background of things. And you'd be surprised at some of the companies that kind of lean towards that direction. Guardian, New York Life, Northwest Mutual, like I just mentioned. So a lot of those companies really come at it from that perspective. Then you have like an investment side of things, like maybe Edward Jones could be one of those people. Although they're really trying to change that paradigm. Another one that's been trying to do kind of change and pivot is Prime America. They've been trying to change for years and just try to change the insurance kind of mindset to more of a planning-based approach. But anyway, so the investment side of things where they really are heavy on investments, and then they really say, well, insurance, like go find somebody else for that. And you can also see like investment only. They say that they're fiduciaries. Those are things that are very investment-based heavy. But I think there's a third kind of background that I would say is super powerful, and it's just from a planning perspective. And that is to try to give you a clear plan in order for you to feel excited about your future. And in that, there might be products that could help either side, right? Insurance-wise or investments-wise. But there's a lot of ways that you can go into it, I guess, an advisor interview, if you will, and you can start seeing this kind of come out and play out with how they'll give you recommendations. And so that's something helpful to go out and look. I would say just flat out, I was kind of brought up in the insurance-based world. And I was partnered with an individual that loved insurance. And to this day, I'm super grateful for the knowledge that I have in insurance. But I probably would leaned into, I'd rather have been, I don't know if that's true, trained in more of the investment world, because I just have learned so much in the investment world. It felt way more daunting, way more regulations, I would say, in the investment world. But the financial planning side of things, or the planning side of things, is kind of, I'm not saying it's the best of both worlds, because I do still feel like there's people who kind of lean one way or the other, even after the financial planning. And you can a lot of times see that after you talk to them about their history, like where did you get trained and who's your mentor and things like that and that nature. And so I'm not sure if this helps, but whenever somebody, you're interviewing for a new advisor, and even if you're listening to the show, maybe you're like, well, you're my advisor. Awesome. Super grateful to do that. But I'll always go back to like, but what's the plan? And are you excited about tomorrow? Because if you're excited about tomorrow, things get exciting really quick. And money's a tool, right? It's not just something that we use. It's a tool in order to, I think, utilize the gifts God's given to you. But super powerful strategy when you start dissecting people's DNA of how they got into this industry. And something I wanted to talk about just today is I don't know if there's a wrong answer, but it's something that you have to kind of understand what you want. Do you want somebody that comes in from the life insurance side of things or an insurance side of things, maybe annuities and things of that nature? Or are you looking for like, no, I really want more investment? Or, hey, I want to have a customized plan in order to make sure that I'm going to be on track in the future. And then let's try to figure out what the best strategy is in order to get us to that end goal. That's where I've landed. And if you're like, I'm looking for an insurance guy, I totally get that. And I feel like I'm really good at dissecting other insurances just to see like the pitfalls of that. But when it comes down to writing insurance, we still do write insurance, but it's not something I'm going out to seek out. If somebody said, hey, I have an insurance need, I'm happy to help, just like I'm happy to help whenever somebody has a need. And that's probably to my demise. But if they're like, hey, I want investments only, yeah, we can do that too. But I'm always like, but are you clear on the plan that you're going? Some people totally are. And I'm fine with, yeah, I'll invest your money for you. I'll be happy to. But anyway, so each person is kind of built in a little bit different way. And they all kind of narrowed it down to what they like. I'm telling you, everyone, is I kind of like the financial planning side of things, the planning side of things, the software to make sure that we're all on the same page going the right direction. And then we also have guidelines and guardrails in order to make sure your money is growing the way that it should. And if it doesn't have a great year, what does that mean? And what do we have to do moving forward? So it just kind of gives you the lay of the land or a lap time in your grand race of how you're doing. That's the way I've been. Anyway, so this is, I think, really nice when you're just going out to talk to advisors. If you're in the market of looking for them, if you're my client and you're in the market for looking at them, man, I wish we would talk first, but that's fine. I'm totally kidding. But anyway, thank you for listening to Uncommon Wealth Podcast. It's always a joy to shoot these things and just kind of give you content that you're like, oh, that's helpful, or maybe it's not helpful, but I'm grateful that you take time just to listen to it. So until next time, go be uncommon, and thank you for being a fellow uncommoner. Have a good day.
That's all for this episode, brought to you by Uncommon Wealth Partners. Be sure to visit uncommonwealth.com to learn more about our services. Don't miss an episode as we introduce you to inspiring people who are actively pursuing an uncommon life.